Well, today is a day to make a direct comparison between two of my personal pistols. You'll see laying right there in front of you. One of them has made the bullseye on the target. That is the Tisas Raider. That is a copy Tisas did of the Colt M45A1 that they built for the Marine Corps. They had some problems. Colt had many problems with their version of that. Had cracked frames. They had some coatings that came off. They had some other issues. I think they finally got some of those ironed out. But the Marine Corps wanted their money back, and I know that they went through a bankruptcy and a lot of other problems. And Colt over the years was the standard. You see the pistol there right below the Raider. That is the Colt Gold Cup. Back when I was a young man, very young, 40 years ago, I owned a Colt Gold Cup and it got away from me. I sold it, had to pay my insurance on my Corvette, big block, and I was in the Navy. And I decided recently I wanted to get me a Colt Gold Cup again so I could pretend like I was young again. But anyway, there's the Colt Gold Cup. Well, when I got it, I began shooting it, and I noticed that the trigger didn't feel quite right. I noticed that my half cock was sometimes holding and sometimes falling. And I thought, well, something is wrong with this. So I took it apart and started looking at the SEAR, and it looked kind of rough. It had all the telltale signs that it had M.I.M parts in it. Metal injection molded parts. Now, I've already had a couple of customers on YouTube ask me, some friends, say, what does that mean, metal injection molded? That means they mix plastic powder with metal powder, melt it all together in a slurry, put it in an injector, inject it into a mold, heat it up till you burn the plastic off, and you end up with a shrinky-dink part. It shrinks down, hopefully within specifications. If it's done right, an M.I.M part can be a good part, but it also can be substandard. It can have a hard surface, and when the hard surface is gone, you're down to the soft core. And I do not like M.I.M parts. All your real shooters that are using a gun to protect themselves, they may buy a gun that has M.I.M parts, and the first thing they do is they run to a company that builds real military mil-spec standard steel parts like Wilson Combat, EGW, Evolution Gun Works, Cylinder and Slide. Go to Mr. Bill at Cylinder and Slide, and they've been building them for real military guns for years. There's several companies out there, Ed Brown, that build parts that you can replace those M.I.M parts with. So we're going to make a comparison between these two guns, and I hope you enjoy this. I have always enjoyed versus, when you have this one versus that one. You will learn something about both. There's something about that striking contrast between two guns. So let's talk about that Colt again just for a minute. The Colt. Years ago, Colt was the gold standard. It was known to be solid, reliable, a highly sought after pistol. The Colt botched up the M45A1 for the Marine Corps, which I already stated. They also botched up my Gold Cup trophy that you see right there, which left a very bad taste in my mouth. They filed bankruptcy, and now they have been bought out or merged with, I think it was actually bought out by CZ out of Czechoslovakia. CZ has been known to make some very high quality guns. I know Dan Wesson jumped off into the 1911 market years ago. I bought one of their Point Man 7, a fantastic gun with all tool steel parts on the inside. CZ bought out Dan Wesson, and their $650 Point Man special is twice that price now. So they've kept a good standard there for quality. But we're going to look at the details here. Now, if you buy a Colt Gold Cup and you just decide you've got to have one, what you will be getting in today's current market is a good, solid, forged frame, forged slide, a match grade, cold hammer forged barrel, and you will be getting some substandard parts. Now, the fit and finish of the gun is decent. It's not perfect, but it's decent. and you might want something a little bit better, but I like my Colt Gold Cup. I don't like what I paid for it. That gun in front of you right there with the blue grip on it, polished stainless steel, was $1,400. I bought it from a local gun store, and I got suckered into it because I wanted a Colt Gold Cup again. They had it on a 90-day layaway program, and that's still $15.55 a day for 90 days. At the time, I was making about $45 an hour working in the oil field, so I could afford it, but I still put it on layaway because there's just something about letting 14 crisp $100 bills flow out of your wallet. It just hurt me too much. So I did buy it, and I've shot it about 300 rounds and had a catastrophic failure. The failure happened in my home. I was up in the man cave, up in my bedroom, and I decided I was going to load it before bedtime. I put some brand new hand loads in the mag, topped it off with 8 rounds, stuck it in the gun, and I let the slide go to chamber a round, and it fired the gun. Say, did anybody get hurt? No one was hurt. I did blow a hole through my mattress. I skidded it off the floor and ran into a pile of boards, and that was the end of that. So I followed all the rules. I pretended like the gun was going to fire. I knew it wouldn't. I didn't think it would, but I pointed it in a safe direction when I chambered around. I had learned as a young man that the SKS rifle has a floating firing pin. It looks like it's been built by a bunch of boys out in the backyard on the anvil with the hammer and campfire, and looks like an old rusty nail. And if it gets a little dirt on it, gets stuck, that firing pin can get stuck forward, and it can strike when you let the bolt fly and fire the gun. Well, this is a different rig altogether, but still yet, when I let the slide go, it chambered around and fired the gun. And I demonstrate that on a video. We will segment that in to this video and let you see it. So stand by for that. So one of the most important parts of the 1911 pistol is its fire control system. So if you do buy a Colt Gold Cup, be prepared to contact Wilson Combat or Cylinder and Slide, one of the top name companies. I believe Wilson Combat's probably made more money off of selling 1911 gun parts than they have of selling pistols. Their pistols start at $3,500, and I think they've got some that go up above $5,000 a piece. But I think Mr. Bill Wilson has made more money through the years selling trigger parts and safeties, things like that. They've got them parts now that are called bulletproof, and they're top-notch parts, man. They're good quality parts. So if you want a Colt Gold Cup and you want to operate reliably and be ready to go into combat with the thing, or use for precision target shooting and not have any issues with it on the range, you want to put some real parts. Get rid of the M.I.M. So you want your hammer, your SEAR, your disconnector, and all the springs that are in the fire control system to be durable, crisp, consistent, and above all things, safe. That gun you're looking at right there is not currently a safe gun. If you go cheap in this area, you are done as far as most buyers are concerned. They'll get on a forum and they'll tell you that thing's junk. I've already had several people write to me about that gun, that Colt on the bottom, and they say, man, I would not spend that kind of money for a Colt because they're just junk. They're just problems, and I'm not willing to endure the problems. Well, I am on this one, but that one you see on the top, that is quickly becoming one of my favorite guns, and it is going to become my EDC. It has not failed me at all. I opened it up, inspected it, and guess what? All the parts inside that Tisas Raider are tool steel parts, and I like it. I like it a lot. It's been 100%. Both those guns in front of you got about the same round count, about 300 rounds on them, so they're not even broke in good. But I can tell you that that nice Tisas Raider on the top is slick as glass when you chamber around. Its half cock works perfect, and it does all the things that a 1911 is supposed to do. So no matter what bells and whistles that you add to a gun, no matter how many glossy pages that you buy in gun magazines, real shooters will quickly figure out. YouTube and gun forums will spread the details and hammer out on the good and the bad and the ugly. So I'm very happy to say that I'm going to work through the problems of the Colt. I'm going to work through it. But Remington and Colt both have learned the hard way that if you're having to fix a brand new gun, that really sucks. And most buyers are not willing to put up with that. I'll do it one time on the Colt, but I won't be buying any more Colt 1911s. And I know they make a competition one now. It's a red dot ready on the top, optic cut and the whole 9 yards, and I'm not doing it. I know they make some that are like their old-timey ones, but I'm not buying any more Colts. I'm going to suffer through this one. I'm going to show some mercy on Colt. I'm not going to talk trash about them. They still are good guns, but they have cut corners when it comes to the price of their internal parts. So if you must have a Colt, you just decide that you got to have a gun that says Colt on the side of it, be prepared to take it apart and take out the cheap M.I.M parts. You'll be able to tell an M.I.M part from a mile away. It'll have small circles, it'll have letters, or it'll have parting lines. That lets you know it's either cast or metal injection molded. If it has a bunch of little markings on it, it was made the cheapest possible way. Now, I don't want that in my pistol, especially my everyday carry. So, Springfield is still hanging in there, although I did buy a Ronin from them, and it went away about as fast as it arrived because it was very rough and it was stuffed full of M.I.M parts. The bluing on it came off like the candy coated on the M&M. I didn't care for that at all. You might be able to get away with M&M parts if you're just using it for a shooter on the farm or a target practice or whatever, but boy, you better have high quality, stellar examples of the M.I.M process. The gold standard of pistol triggers today is still the linear pull of that nice 1911, an aluminum type of a trigger that's lightweight so it doesn't bounce, the stainless steel polished shoe, and pulling that trigger straight back. And this is not a place to fool around with soft M.I.M parts, especially if you're going to print the words Gold Cup Trophy on the side of your gun. The polymer wonders in 9mm are still very popular today, but the 1911 is here to stay, and it is growing quickly. There's still a lot of companies all over the world that are building this gun. You go over to Israel, and they've got a company over there called Bull Armory. And they make some beautiful stainless steel 1911s. They make them in commander size, full-size government. They make them in some very high dressed up ones. And I will bet you $1 to a donut that they're not stuffed full of M.I.M parts. For the casual shooters that fires about 50 rounds a year and has no interest in guns, you probably should avoid the 1911 altogether. For people that are gun nuts, or military people, or special forces people, people that are serious shooters, they want to be able to hit their target consistently and carry a steel gun, and you don't mind working on them just a little bit to get them tuned up and get them ready to go, that's the pistol for you right there. So this is for your tactical shooters, your bullseye shooters, your defense shooters. That 1911 is still the tool of choice. When you watch the Marine Corps, they've got a shooting team and they're shooting bullseyes out at 50 yards. They're shooting the 1911. They're shooting a 45 ACP 1911. They shoot a Nosler 185 grain hollow point bullet. They're shooting Vitavuri VVN 310 powder, and those guys they can shoot into a 1-inch group with some of those guns at 50 yards. It just blows my mind. I can't even do that 25. But these guns in front of you can tune it to suit your needs, to customize it to look exactly as you wish, and hit the target too. So now, without further ado, as they say, let's get into these. Let's go ahead and lay this beauty right here, my favorite EDC. We will lay him right to the side, and I want to show you the problem that I ran into with that Colt Gold Cup that you see right there. It's quite the problem. The problem is that the SEAR inside it is made out of one of those little shrinky-dink M.I.M parts. So let's go ahead and open this up. Make sure it is clear. Pull out the factory Colt magazine, got the little horse reared up on it, Colt 45 auto. Lay it aside, and I want you to see this. Watch what happens when I pull this trigger. I'm gonna hold it and pull it, and then I'm gonna let it, release it, I'm gonna let it go, okay? Watch closely. See what happened? That trigger went all the way down. In other words, it hit the firing pin. That means that gun would go off. On a Colt 45, as you're drawing it to the rear, if you get past halfway, let's say you get all the way out to 3/4 of the way, 75% cocked, and you let go, it is not supposed to fire that gun. If you cycle the slide on one, that hammer should not follow. Did you see that? All I did was cycle the slide and the hammer followed. That means that your SEAR edges or the hammer hooks have sheared off. They're damaged in one way or another. I'm going to do it again for you. Holding the safety down. I'm going to rack it to the rear. It should, see, it left the hammer to the rear that time, but that's inconsistent, okay? I'm going to drop the hammer, cycle it again, and look what happened. See that hammer? I've got hammer follow. One of my readers and watchers of my YouTube video said, man, you've got hammer follow. I said, you are 100% correct. And if you do that, now here's when it really shows up. If you have a round, I'm going to use a dummy round. All right, got a dummy round right here, and we're going to load it. Now this is aluminum round. It has no primer. It has no gunpowder, right? I want you to watch this now, and maybe you can learn something from it. This is a learning video. All my videos are years of experience, and if I make a mistake or something goes wrong with one of my guns, a problem, I'm not going to hide it or cover it up. I'm going to show it to you, okay? So here's the Colt mag, one dummy round going in hot, except it's not hot, it's a dummy. And watch what happens. Now I'm not going to touch the trigger. All right, watch my fingers. Got 4 fingers, 1 thumb. We'll call it 5 fingers right there handy. See that? Now watch carefully. Now I'm going to let the slide release go with the other hand. I'm not going to touch the trigger. No, nothing up my sleeve. Okay, no problem. Hammer stayed to the rear. Let's do it again. Out comes the dummy round, going in, lock the gun open, all fingers where you can see them, see that right there, all fingers in the clear, no, not touching the trigger, let the slide release go. Look what happened, do you see that? Do you see where the hammer is? That hammer followed the slide, and if that was a real live round, I would be blowing a hole through my nice table up in the man cave right now. So how do you know that? Because I did it in my mattress up here, just loading up the gun. So you shouldn't load a gun in the house. Well, sometimes when I'm putting a mag full of brand new bullets in a gun, that's how I do it. I just put it in the gun, let the slide go, and immediately put my thumb safety on, and then I lay it on my bedstand, and it's ready for duty. I mean, I don't have to always run out in the yard to load a gun. So, I don't know if you do it that way, but I don't have any children around me, and I'm pointing in a safe direction into my mattress, into a pile of boards beside my mattress, catch a bullet, and boy, I'm telling you, when I let that thing go, it went bang, and my wife said, hey, I'd like for you to let me know if you're going to be shooting up there. Watch this, going to cycle again. Chambered around, it held, no problem. And I said, well, honey, I did not expect it to shoot that time. She said, did you have an accidental discharge? I said, well, yes, but not like me doing something dumb. I didn't touch the trigger. I had a failure of my gun. All right, here we go. One more time. Look at that hammer follow. See that? That would fire that gun if that was a live round. So like I say, I'm going to segment in and show you this in real life on a metal cabinet out in the yard, and you're going to get to see a failure of the gun, something that is very dangerous. Now that is a Colt Gold Cup, a factory gun. It has about 300 rounds on it. It's not a worn out gun. About 300 rounds on it, and it is got problems. So I have got with Wilson Combat, I've ordered a sack full of brand new parts, and also a cylinder slide, and that will take care of that. Now let's make a direct comparison between this $1,400 Colt that's stuffed full of M.I.M parts And let's look at this bad boy right here. This is the Tisas Raider. Now, for the most part, it is 100% stock, except for I did put a custom barrel bushing and a custom thread protector. But other than that, all the internals on this gun are 100% stock. So let's look at this. Let's check it empty. Make sure it's empty. All right, it is. I'll do a quick pinky check. Oh my gosh, he put his finger in the machine. That's not a problem. Okay, so here we go. Let's let this hammer fall. Now watch closely. I'm going to hold the hammer. I'm going to release it. Okay, it's released. I've got it with my fingers. Now watch what happens. I'll let it go. Now I'm hoping you can see this. I probably need to get something to stick in between there. Let's have, let's try a 308 round. Look at that. See that nose of that? That's got a nice big gap. See that? So where is that hammer positioned right now? That hammer fell on the half cock notches on the hammer, on the SEAR, and it is holding right there. That gun will not fire. There's still a big gap between the hammer and the firing pin. So it's supposed to do that? Yep. Now what if you were cocking? All right, let's say you're riding on a horse, you're coming into town, for some reason your hammer was down and you decided, you know, that's why you carry it. I don't, I carry it cocked and locked, but let's say you had it down and for some reason you're cocking your hammer and you get back there and all of a sudden it gets away from you. Bang! It stops at half cock, and the Colt was supposed to do the same thing. My notches on the Colt hammer have failed on the hammer or on the SEAR. In my case, it's the SEAR, and you'll see that. We're gonna put pictures of this. I'll post them for you right on the video so you can see them. So I pull it all the way to the rear like that, put the safety on, all that's good. Now watch this. We're gonna do a test on this one just like we did the last one. Take the dummy round, put it in the factory Metguard magazine, lock the slide to the rear. This is the way it's supposed to work, like this, okay? Gun is locked open. We put the magazine in with one dummy round, and we're gonna let it fly. Notice again, all 5 fingers where you can see them, not touching the trigger. Watch what happens. That hammer stays right where it's supposed to be, and then you put your thumb safety on. I have confidence in this gun. Why? Well, first off, it's because they're very high quality guns. So what's the price of that? $700. $700 for this gun. And I think it's because in Turkey, their labor is much, much cheaper. But Turkey has got some top-notch CNC equipment. It's not old Colt equipment. This gun was built on some of their old machinery, and they've let it go. They've just let it go, and they've let it go too far. Maybe CZ will step in and invest a bunch of several millions of dollars, and they'll build new machinery for them. I don't know. This Tisas has already got top-notch equipment, and the parts inside this gun are tool steel parts. And like I say, you just keep watching the video. I will pop up on the screen for you, and I'm going to let you see all the internals of this gun and all the internals of this gun laid out side by side. I'll put the trashy parts, M.I.M parts on this on a pink sheet, which will represent like red, caution. And I'll put these on a light green sheet to let you know green, good to go, green light, go, go, go. And you'll be able to see the difference in the two. So, anything else we got to talk about right now? No, not right now, but we'll get right back with you. So please stay tuned and watch for those parts to be updated. I got to take these guns apart real quick, and for some reason they don't really like you to do that on video, but that's okay. We will take them apart and let everybody see the guts of these guns, and we'll put these where they belong. That one hit the target, and this one missed the target. We'll get him up to speed though, don't worry. We'll get him all fixed up. Just have to spend about 150 bucks, and he'll be a real gun. So again, thanks for watching. Over and out for now. Okay, my friends, today I'm going to take this nice high-dollar gold cup trophy that is stuffed full of soft M.I.M parts, and I'm going to show you why I don't use M.I.M parts in my guns. And say, well, he spent $1,400 on that thing, surely it should be ready to go. Let's have a look and see how ready it is. It's only been fired about 300 times and started having some problems. So here we go. Now I want you to notice something. Look carefully. This is a training video for safety. 1, see right here, pinky, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers. See that carefully? I'm not going to use the trigger finger. See this magazine right here? Magazine, 1 round. Here we go. Putting it in the gun. And I'm going to hold it close to that metal cabinet so you can see what's happening right here. Okay, see the metal cabinet's got some holes, but right where I'm pointing, there's no hole. All I'm going to do is let the slide go, okay? Watch carefully. Oh, nothing happened. That's good. Let's try it again. Trying again, round number 2. Notice again, all 5 fingers are in view, keeping them in view. All I'm doing is letting the slide go. Slide stop. Here we go. Oh boy, look at that. You see that all my fingers are still on the grip of that gun. All I did is let the slide go. Notice how it handled the round too. That's the effect of having a SEAR that's made out of shrinky-dink material. And I have taken this gun completely apart to show that. Here's another thing you need to learn right now. Say, well, you didn't even pull the trigger. Nope, I did not pull the trigger. Watch this. Another thing to add to your repertoire of things to know. This is a Colt Gold Cup. Watch this. I'm going to click the hammer back, gun's now empty, and we're going to set it on half cock. I made it 3/4 of the way. Here we go, set on half cock. Did not fall to half cock. All right, let's go back to 7/8 and let it fall. That would fire that gun, my friend. The half cock on this has wore out after 300 rounds. It bypasses the half cock. Fully cocked, it works fine, but there is no half cock, and I'm going to demonstrate to you why that is so important. We will break out the nice Tisas Raider, the brand new Raider that's stuffed full of steel parts, real machine parts, and you'll see it has a half cock, and when you get in half cock mode, you can pull the trigger and everything on that gun is locked up. So I hope you enjoyed that. You see the bullet hole right there. That is a bullet hole from a Colt Gold Cup without pulling the trigger. All I did was let that slide go with the slide release, also known as the slide stop. And a couple of days ago, I had the privilege of doing that in my home. And I was pointing in a nice safe direction, went through the mattress and through the other side of the mattress, skidded off the floor and landed in a big pile of boards, and nobody was hurt. But I was following all my rules of engagement on a pistol, and that is always pointing a safe direction. So this Colt Gold Cup is going to get all those soft M.I.M shrinky-dink parts out. You will see an exploded picture of those parts laid out with one of my special apps on my phone, where you get to see it up close and personal. It won't be microscopic, but you'll be able to easily see that the factory parts that come in a Colt Gold Cup are substandard junk. You do not want to use them if you want to keep this gun in good shape. So I'll show you how to take some parts from Cylinder and Slide, some from Wilson Combat. We will soup this bad boy up and make it be what it is supposed to be, what John Moses Brown intended. So over and out for now.